Greetings and welcome. This is eSports Machina, and today I'm gonna do my knockout stage predictions for Worlds. Before that, I will closely talk about my group stage run, which was kind of catastrophe. But in my defense, in the leaderboards, if you look at it, I'm like on the 7th rank still, and a lot of people got things wrong, and only 6 players got it right, and that's why I put some really good awards there because it's really hard to predict what will happen. And I believe last year only won, and I actually in 2014 I got everything right except the last one where I predicted that Royal would beat Samsung, and that's of course my personal bias, and I have personal reasons and storylines that I want to see, and that's why I kind of messed it up. But I think in deep of hearts of hearts, if I would have to bet my life, I would have probably bet on Samsung White though. And then we have so let's talk about my group stage a bit. So just to quickly go on, G2 Esports shit the bed. They shouldn't have shit the bed, otherwise they would have been second. I think they had good scrims allegedly, so that's why it happened. One of the reasons why CLG failed was because Aurelion Sol was actually disabled, which is who his signature champion, and I think that lost some of the flavor that CLG had the chance to win. Albus pretty much like cheesed a lot of games, and it's kind of ironic that LCS teams, LPL, LCK teams go these best of threes or best of twos series all the time, and then they go into Worlds where it's best of one. Like, what the fuck is the idea? What the fuck is the idea there? Because you will be playing a whole season on a best of series, and then this best of one shit comes up. Group B, SK Telecom was the first. That's what I predicted. It could have been a chance that they could have been third as well if they would have been cheesed all by these teams. It was possible that any of these teams could have won SK Telecom if they were on their final form. I think Flash Wolves really suffered on closing the games. If you look at all the games, they played pretty well. Mabel pretty much played like a god on almost every game. He had always good results. I think he is better laner than Faker. But sadly, he has a fucking shit AD carry and top laner. Imagine if AHQ would give Ziv and Ann to Flash Wolves. That team could win the Worlds. That's a really fucking strong lineup, but they have two shit teammates, sadly. And yes, Flash Wolves couldn't close games, yada yada yada. Cloud9 also predicted it could have been on the top two because they have good macro, and they ended up being the second, which is good. On Group C, the reason why H2K got first, which should never have happened, the two reasons that play into this was that Edward Gaming was too cocky and they lost the game to INTZ. That's why they lost their first seed. The second reason is that AHQ didn't feel Chawi in the games. Westor absolutely shit the bed even on the games that they won. Chawi indeed lost the game, but when you look at his game, he actually won Pawn on lane, or was it Scout that played? I think it was Pawn. And Chawi should have played on the other games as well. He's much better champion pool. Westor just got really punished by Ryu and other people, and with Chawi they would have had a decent mid laner who didn't shit the bed. Of course, Westor is a shot caller, so there's that, but yeah. Group D, TSM pretty much shit the bed. I think there should have been a tiebreaker, but that's just me between Royal and TSM. I put Royal first. I had high hopes for them. They were inconsistent, but on the games that they won, they looked pretty good. And Samsung, I just didn't have any high hopes for them, so I underestimated them, and that's really much my bad reasoning. When I look at their career, I didn't think they were that impressive. Then again, I don't think there was that good top laners in this group that could have punished their QV, which is not that great top laner to be honest. But that's just my thoughts on this group, and I got my reasons why I got things right. Even though on the aforementioned things gone right, I wouldn't have 100% still. Okay, so I'm not making any type of. I'm not trying to make excuses that it was inconsistency and blah blah blah. So now we're gonna talk about the quarterfinals, and I'm gonna say, because I made a video about this. I think it was the wildcard video that I did. And in that video, I did explain why I want the IPL 5 double elimination tournament. So how it will work is the same format as we have right now, except nobody drops on group stage. Everybody gets seeded. The top two of each group will seeded to the upper bracket, and the lower teams will be seeded into the lower bracket. And every game would be best of three until the finals. And what are the benefits of double elimination? For one, you won't have shit like this happening, where you have cheeses and shit, where good teams could probably didn't make it out of groups such as TSM, and it would give you the third place match. It would give you a better understanding in which like rankings teams are. So, for example, last year 2 European teams made it to the semis, Fnatic and Origin. But then it would never have happened if one of them would have to play AHQ or KT that last year. KT and AHQ were better teams than Fnatic and Origin. That's just a fact. And to be honest, AHQ should have been the first seed in the first place to go on last Worlds. You look at the games where they lost. Fnatic squeezed a little busy. Fnatic got really lucky last year against the second game against AHQ, and if that AHQ would have won that game, Fnatic would have gone against KT. But I'm not going to talk about the past anymore. I'm just saying that this system is really bad because we see this lower bracket. Upper bracket has like the top 4 teams on the worlds. Okay, you could say Samsung Galaxy is better than Edward. At this point, I think it's true. But you look at this lower bracket, this has the worst teams. So this is a free ride for. I think Samsung is going to be the finals here because of that. They're going to have free ride. And here you got like all the best teams stacked up. In double elimination, these teams will go lower and lower, and you end up having that like Rocks versus SK Telecom final. So because of Edward sandbagging, I believe Rocks is going to take it in here. I don't think because it's not like they can sub in Koro. I think Koro was last year pretty good, but they decided to play with that other shit top laner. And now they have another shit top laner called Mouse. And Smeb is just gonna like fucking anal rape, Mouse. They don't have anyone to sub it in. And yeah, mid laner can be a very even matchup, but well, I could see Edward taking one game, but I just see Rocks winning this. And as I'm gonna do 2 drafts, obviously this is where I'm gonna choose differently. I believe that Royal has a chance. The final form, the super form Royal can beat SKT. I believe that. If they're really prepared, they go really ham, they can win this. But historically, I would choose SK Telecom. Okay, I would choose SK Telecom. And if you do 2 variations, choose Royal differently here. So I'm going to choose SK Telecom. This is going to be the more likely, less eSports Machina biased, Royal fanboy version. Then we have Clone9 and Samsung. Crone is so much better than Jensen. Crone is Impact could punish QV. The bot lanes are actually Clone9 has a better bot laner, but I think just the macro play, the sheer macro. This is really hard to predict, but I think I'm gonna go with Samsung here. A lot of the members in Albus are actually sick. Albus has a better macro than H2K, by the way. But honestly, I don't know how they will fare in the best of series. So I might even go against I'll go do H2K here. And here, this is hard again. It's really hard to say, but here I'm going to choose Samsung. It's going to be cool to see Deft versus Forgiven. Deft has been playing pretty shit. I think it was playing pretty shit, but no, sorry, this is not Edward. Never mind that. I'm going to choose Rocks, and I'm going to choose Rocks as a winner. They will beat Samsung, but this is likely going to be the draft. And the other variation that I would have is essentially, so we're going to put Royal here, Rocks here. I'm going to put Albus here, and then we're going to put Samsung again, or maybe I put a Cloud9 here again. We could see that happening. Well, would I? Yeah, I think it could happen. I think the Cloud9 could win. And out of these 2 teams, who the fucking knows? And then I would even pick Rocks. I would pick Rocks again actually here. Royal could win this. As I said, the Royals has a better bot laner than Rocks. And then we have Cloud9, and Rocks is gonna win this anyways. No matter what the lineup here is. I would say Cloud9. So these would be the 2 drafts that I would run. But going back into the prediction stuff, I could see Royal, SK Telecom, or Rocks winning the tournament. The upper down bracket, anything could happen here pretty much. Albus could be on finals against SKT or some shit, and that's the problem with this fucking bracket system, because in double elimination you will get a fucking good final. You have a guaranteed having like Rox and SK Telecom on the finals. It's going to be very, and the problem also is that if Rox is not going to beat SK Telecom, I don't think any of the lower bracket teams can beat SKT. It just doesn't seem plausible. Not plausible. H2K in the toughest form could do it, but they don't have better macro enough to do that. And it's gonna be really sad if SK Telecom wins. I really hope that they don't. That's my only narrative here. I don't want SKT to win. I don't want their fucking stupid ass skins. I'm tired of all Faker being overhyped all the time, even though it's being average since season 3. And it just would kill me if they would win again. So this bracket is set up pretty well. So they have two very strong teams against Rox and Royal, and even Edward. But all of those teams have a chance to beat SKT. So I'm really hoping that they will beat SKT. I really hope that will happen. And the tools and the narrative is set there to SKT's destruction. I really hope it happens. But in the result, no matter what the final game is going to be, I don't think it's going to be the best game. The best games in this group is going to be this game here. This game is going to be the best. This semifinal will going to be the best game in the tournament, probably. No matter who is in it, Rox versus Royal, Edward versus Royal, who knows? Edward versus Royal would be kind of bad though. I don't think that will happen, but it would be funny if it did. But essentially, as I said, because if you don't run the double elimination format, the finals are going to be probably a shit game. Samsung versus Rox is not going to be very interesting, or Rox versus H2K is not going to be very interesting. Just saying that. And last year's finals were pretty good. You got pretty much the best teams there, and it was in that sense really good. But the how the bracket system just can't go. It's just retarded in this Riot system. Okay, it's already 12 minutes. I'm not gonna nag any longer. Sorry for the people who went with my group stage picks and didn't get the prizes and stuff. There is still, if you follow this one and chose what I have, we have still a chance to win the Paro one. And picking the champion will give you 20 points, so there's that. Okay, cheers guys, and I will see you next time.